Hey everyone, it's Warriors NRL Fanatics here. Hope you're all doing well on this Saturday afternoon. Joining me today, this afternoon, this evening, is Ash Thomas. He's a content creator. He's actually a Warriors content creator. He is based in Brisbane as well. He's been on my channel before. You guys would have seen him last year when it was in the NRL finals where we did a big live stream before the Warriors content creators and, Warrior Holic and Waz Up and Hold the Ball and that. And he was on, which was awesome to get his insights as well. But I've got him on his own this time. So we're going to go through and we're going to actually go and chat about the 2024 New Zealand Warriors squad. So Ash, good to see you. Hope you're doing well over there in Bris Vegas. How you been?
Yeah, good, bro. Good. Everything's been good over here. Obviously, we were talking before. It's been storming a little bit over here over the Christmas period and that. Obviously, you and the Goldie, man, how bad the storms were. But yeah, so keen for the season coming up. Obviously, we're in such a good stead from last year. Everything's looking great. As Warriors fans, we're all positive and happy. And the squad, man, the depth's looking really, really good. So really excited to go through the boys with you.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, it's great to have you on again. So going to tell you guys what we're going to do. So we're going to go through the squad. We're going to give our thoughts on the depth of the squad and the injury covers, who would come in, and we'll go through the squad in a bit of in-depth chat here. So first things first, we'll have a look at the outside backs. So the outside backs for me this year. So just get it on the screen here. Outside backs. So looking at the outside backs here and who we've got. So right now I'll go through this. Outside backs. So you've got Adam Pompey, Ali Lautoa, Ben Farr, Chanel Harris-Tavita, Chancellor Klugstad, Dallin Watene-Zelezniak, Edward Cozy, Rocco Berry, Siol Kelly, Kane Tuapigi, Patrick Moimoy, Sinale Augustino, Marcelo Montoya, RTS. So that is our outside backs. So what are your thoughts there on the outside backs and the depth of outside backs leading into 2024?
Yeah, awesome, bro. Overall, I felt like, at one point this year, our outside backs, more so the center position, really did not look that great depth-wise and all that. But coming into this season, obviously adding RTS is our obviously big prize cow that he's come back to the Warriors. He's going to be amazing in that center position from all we hear, training in that center position. So awesome to have him back. And then you got all the young depth that we have coming through as well. So Ali Le'atoa, all those sort of boys, Augustino, so much good young depth coming through. Obviously Rocco Berry, who killed it in the Kiwi A's and killed it last year for us as well. So really, really excited to see how we go. And even when we lost a guy like Vailea, to still have boys that are around the club that look like they got so much potential, where we looked at years past, a player like Vailea was our guy that we're holding on for, that we're hoping he was going to turn into something incredible and special. Now we've got depth in all different types of positions. Fullback with Tuapiki and obviously Chance and stuff. Centers looking amazing. Wingers with Dallin and Montoya. Obviously, Dall was amazing last year. Obviously, at least top 3 winger in the competition. You can pretty much argue that, obviously, to have cows come home. But, man, really, really excited for this year coming up with the boys in the outside backs. What's your thoughts, my bro?
Yeah, just looking at those outside backs, we've got a pretty good depth there in that department. I think, there's going to be a lot of competition for spots, especially. Obviously, we know the fullback and probably the wingers might be pretty much a certainty there. I think obviously Chance Nickel-Cookstad fullback, that's a certainty. Yeah. Dallin Watene-Zelezniak will definitely be on the wing. There's no doubt about that. I think you could say that obviously RTS is going to be, there's a lot of talk around RTS being the centre this year. Yeah. Well, what are your thoughts on that? How do you think that's going to all go? Because I feel like that may take a bit of time to, get used to for RTS. It's a new position. What do you think is going to happen there with the centre pairing?
So for me, watching a lot of RTS coming up through the grades and that, and if you checked out my predicted team list, I do have my TikTok and that, you guys know that I have a very, not a strong view on where I think RTS is going to play, but I feel like I've got a good idea where he's going to be playing. And for me, unfortunately, like Rocco had an amazing season last season, and out of all the players like that we have in that center position coming up, I think he's got some of the most potential that we have. But I feel like RTS, he loves that right side of the field with that left foot step. He's got a really nice left-hand fend. It just creates space for his outside men playing as like a natural center. That's really the same sort of things you want to see out of your right side center. And knowing Rocco Berry playing a lot of right side, pretty much for his whole career on that right side, it's really up to those two that are targeting out on that right side, unless maybe Webby can change RTS on that left side of the field. But from everything I've seen, obviously in the Roosters coming up, he was a right side winger. Even when we had moments where Walshy came into the squad and RTS ended up pushing to that right wing. And even in games last year, for example, the Tigers game, I'm pretty sure we end up having RTS running at some points there as a right side centre and having Ewan Aiken actually outside of him, even though Ewan Aiken was lined up in that centre role. So go check that one out. You get a good view on how RTS will look more so if he obviously holds up a lot of what he had before leaving rugby league and that. So really, really excited because I think he's going to be amazing in that position. Just knowing that, you know, he's a workhorse. And everything you're hearing out of our training at the moment, he's looking amazing, apparently. He's a top-notch athlete. The boys are all talking him up. So really, really excited for him this year. What's your thoughts, my bro?
Yeah, so for me, like looking at the whole centre, pairing, it's right now I got RTS and Berry. RTS and Berry are my centre pairing. I've been very strong and I'm going to stay with that opinion throughout the whole season. RTS is, look, having him back is awesome in itself because what he brings, to the club especially is not only that, he's a great player, his professionalism as well. He's good. He's going to be good around the younger players. The vibe that those younger players will have, being able to, be around RTS, especially in that around the club, on the field as well. So, I think RTS will go very strong in the centres. I know I've seen some people that are a little bit iffy around it. But yeah, look, for me, RTS in the centres and Rocco Berry, I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a real good combination. I think it'll take time to gel, but I think it will definitely gel. I think it will gel. And we've got someone here in the chat. So how's it going here to NEAD,
I know this man personally. Shout out to Nanad, bro. Shout out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you know him.
Yeah, I know him personally. A great guy. Lovely guy.
Yeah. Awesome. Great to see you here. But yeah, so look, just to sum it up, I think, you look at the outside backs, we don't have an issue. I don't think we have an issue with our depth in the outside backs personally. I think, over the years I've always been concerned, but now I'm seeing plenty of depth come through. So what is your general thoughts on that?
Yeah, man. As pretty much as we touched on, like where the last couple of years, obviously the COVID years, we were struggling in that position. There was multiple times where obviously we had the loan deal with Jesse Arthurs that I wish we actually signed or held on to because he looks like a star and he was a star for us as well when we had him there. But we had like moments, obviously the year before, like 2021, 2022, where we had moments where we're looking at that center position, we had inconsistency there, and we're just hanging on to someone like Valia to step up. We had Rocco Berry, one of these boys to get way ahead of their development curve. And now when we got RTS back, and then we got boys like Adam Pompey has got to be someone that we talk about as well, because I thought he had a great year, even though a lot of people probably disagree in some moments in that. But the biggest thing, his availability is unquestioned. He played nearly every minute for us, and he actually played the most minutes out of anyone in the competition last year. And I thought he was amazing there for us. We've had players that have been very inconsistent over years, especially with injuries and stuff. And overall, throughout the whole year, he's always been there for us as well. So he's another guy you could throw up in that conversation. For my predicted, I actually had RTS and Pompey, only because Pompey is a left side center. Like he's always played that left side really, really well. Reminds me a lot of Peter Hiku, even though Peter Hiku is a predominantly right side center. On that left side, he's just got that same jig to him. He's got a really good upper body strength. I think he's awesome there. And the only reason, I love Berry, I think Berry's got the more potential out of the two. I think Berry will end up getting into the squad a little bit later or whatever we figure out there. But I think just a player that's just suited to that left side role with his left-hand ball carry, right-hand fend. Everything suits him on that left-hand side. But it could go either way. We've seen, amazing things that Webby has done for our club within just the preseason. Who knows if he gets his boys up to the top notch to be versatile to play on both sides and really work your way around that. So yeah, it's awesome, man. I love the depth that we have. Even Ali Leatoa looked amazing
Yeah,
last year.
definitely.
Man, we're in good stead. Like, it's awesome to see all these juniors coming up through the competition at the moment.
Yeah, so who do you think out of those players that in the outside backs, who do you think that may get an opportunity in first grade this year? Because you've got some of the looking at the
Yeah.
younger players, who do you reckon may get their first grade opportunity? I think there's quite a few that could get in, maybe push for a starting spot during the season. But
Yeah.
who do you reckon?
I love Ali, even though he played last year. Obviously, he made his debut last year. I think he's got a chance to go back into the squad again. Obviously, Edward Gossi, I love him. I think he's got the potential to come back into the squad if everything does go wrong. So our depth there is amazing. But obviously, with our two amazing wingers that we have at the moment, and both of them play a lot of consistent footy. Obviously, Dallin coming back off a serious injury and ending the year on fire. Like, within this short amount of time, just ranking up those tries and stuff. And on the other side of the field, I think Monty was our second most played player last year as well. So he didn't really deal with too many injuries last year. And he was in moments at the end of last year, he did not have the same, like, obviously, power and strength that he did the start of the year. But the start of the year, we do forget, he was absolutely amazing against the Cowboys. The 3 tackle breaks with a lay on that try assist, and just amazing, man. So, like, it's really tough to find a young bloke that's going to really find his way in here. But I think someone like Ali Leatoa, I think he's a star, man. I think he's got something so special there. What are your thoughts, man? Who are you thinking? Who are you looking?
Yeah, so just looking at those outside backs, I'd say Ali Leatoa is definitely up there, for sure. Another interesting one here, Patrick Moimoi as well, and Sanale Augustino. Yeah. I watched plenty of those guys in the cup side, and I think it was the cup side they played in last season. And the cup side actually did very well. They got very close as well to a grand final. So it was great to watch those young players, even though, I'd love to see more games, because some of those games aren't live, which is a shame. I'd love to see more games shown on TV or, live streamed a bit more. But from what 100%. I saw in the highlights as well, in some of those games that are shown, the younger players especially watched out for was Augustino and Moimoi, Patrick Moimoi. Those wingers, Sio Kelly as well is another good one as well. So, the outside backs, just looking at it, we've got some very good outside backs and a few good younger players that could potentially, have a crack in the first grade side. It might not happen this year, but, they're definitely there for the future. I think it could happen. So
100%.
Yeah. So that's the outside back. So just generally, what do you rate? Like, if you look at outside backs, what do you rate? Given a rating out of, 10 out of, what do you think?
I think we have one of the most consistent fullbacks in the competition at the moment with Chance. I think, our wingers are, obviously Dallin for me is, as I said before, a top 3 winger in the competition right now. Having someone like RTS, if he gets back to any form that he left the comp with, even in a different position, I think he's going to be an absolute star in that center position. We've seen players like Valentine Holmes that were predominantly winger fullbacks that have come in and have played amazing at center. I believe that RTS can do very similar things. I'm going to rate it, honestly, and obviously I'm biased as hell because I love this team, as you are going to be as well. But I think, if I looked at the last couple of years, I would have rated probably about a 6, maybe around about that, because I honestly thought our depth wasn't there. At the moment, seeing these juniors last year and stuff, they were amazing. So I'm going to rate us about an 8. I think we got a really good back line. I feel like we got points in us as well. Which is what we never really lacked as Warriors. But it's good to see, man. What do you rate us at the moment? What are you thinking?
I'm probably going the same boat here. I'll probably say an 8.5. I think. Out of looking into those outside backs, it's just for me, I just don't see a lot in terms of a weakness in terms of our depth. But what do you think? Just quickly, do you think there are any strengths or if you look at the strengths of our backs and any weaknesses, what do you reckon?
Honestly, there is the obvious, the one big downside of maybe having RTS coming back. Obviously, he's had a full year or a couple of years away from footy at the moment, rugby league, playing in Union. He's coming back off an injury year too. So maybe he could not hit the ground running. Defensively, might take him a little bit of time to get used to it, where we had someone like Berry in that position that was absolutely amazing defensively. I think he held like an 89 or 90% tackle percent efficiency last year. But maybe if we, maybe just disjointed defensive movements on that left-hand side with Monty and Pompey. We did find that a little bit last year, if that was the way our combinations go. Sometimes, maybe hopefully another preseason together, they get combinated really, really well. But we'll have to see how it goes. I think that's our biggest thing is maybe injuries to someone like RTS and defensively for him to find his way into the squad. But other than that, I see tries in us. Obviously, Dallin last year, absolutely amazing, scoring tries in the corner. And we got someone that's strong outside the back with Monty that obviously carries the ball with vicious intentions. He's awesome, man. So, little weaknesses, but I think we're going to be right.
Yeah, I think the only weaknesses are probably our defence. Like I was, sometimes, they jam out. But, I think we saw, just an example is Montoya. I think he was a couple of times during the finals. He got caught out a couple of times. But, look, it's going to happen. And you hope that improves that, during the off-season as well, just the defensive side, which I think defence during last year was very good,
incredible.
Actually. I think we ranked one of the top 3 teams in terms of defence, which was, a real improvement on previous years.
100%, bro.
Yeah, which was awesome to see. But, the outside backs are great. We've got some good outside backs, and I think, there's no concerns for me at the moment if we get any injuries in that sort of area. So,
agreed.
You can throw in someone like an Ale, into the centres if there's an injury, or you got Tane there. You can play a bit of fullback if CNK gets injured, or RKS can jump in there.
Yeah, exactly.
So just looking at that is, not we don't lack any depth on that sort of side. But that's the outside backs here now. So just moving on. So we are going to look at. Actually, we'll look at the spine. We'll look at the halves first. So we'll look at the halves. So at the moment, as listed, we have Tamari Martin.
Yep.
Chanel Harris-Tavita.
Mm-hmm.
And we got Sean Johnson, Luke Metcalf.
Yep.
Obviously, we did have Ronald Volkman. Now, I want to get your thoughts on Ronald Volkman here because during the off-season, we had a bit of a surprise. Ronald Volkman actually deciding to go to the Dragons. Now, unfortunately, he has failed his medical. He did an injury and apparently he's out for this season, which is pretty gutting to hear. It's a shame. But what are your thoughts here on Ron Volkman? Because I saw a comment here. Someone was asking regards to the Dragons and Ron Volkman there.
Yeah, obviously, just crazy because I love Ronald Volkman just as much as anyone else. I believe that out of all our half steps that we actually had there for a player to take over SJ, I thought honestly he was our number one. Even with Chanel coming back to the club, I just still thought with Chanel, it would take a little bit more time to get footy under his belt and all that. And I thought Ronnie did amazing for our cup team last year. He was incredible. So it sucks to obviously lose someone like him. He did have shoulder issues before he actually left the club. I think I remember last year in the cup team that he had actual shoulder injuries as well. And then obviously going to the Dragons and seeing that happen in a way that turned out is really disappointing. Hopefully, from our end as Warriors and stuff like that, we did as best we could to not put ourselves in a really bad position there. Maybe if anything comes out on that, but I've seen a lot of stuff that the RLPA will be looking into this matter as well, due to the Dragons actually putting him into training before registering his full NRL contract, which is the RLPA obviously stand really strongly against that due to obviously situations maybe like this. And obviously, the big thing, the human thing out of all this, we got to think of this guy. He's just come from a contract with the Warriors, gone back to the Dragons, expecting a contract. He's going to feed the family, all that sort of stuff. And now he's somewhat stranded in the middle. Obviously, he doesn't have a contract with the Warriors at the moment, unless that gets maybe, I don't know really what the go is there. If we bring him back, I don't know. And obviously, he does not have a contract with the Dragons at the moment. And now he's got a shoulder injury that has got him out for the season. So all thoughts and prayers goes out to Ronnie and his family and all that, because I hope he's doing well. Obviously, I love him to death as a Warriors. I thought he was going to be our 7 for the future, but it's just the way things go. And it's just, it's a really sad story. Obviously, I'm really close to him. I'm not close to Ronnie. I don't know him personally, but he's actually like family in some sort of ties. So he's like my missus' cousin's cousin sort of thing. So I wanted him as a Warriors number 7 for the future, and it really sucks how it's all played out at the moment. But what's your thoughts, Fanatics? What do you think about the situation overall, and what do you know?
Mike on mute. Look, obviously disappointing in a way because I did wish him well and hoped he went. I've got him. He follows me on Insta there, but I wish him well. Said all the best and thanks, for representing the club and the Warriors and that. And look, whoever leaves, I always wish them the well. It is gutting, it's disappointing, but I wouldn't go out of my way to have a go at them, and all that sort of stuff. And but Ronald Volkman, look, I had this weird feeling that he may leave, I hope it was going to be true, but because, the club's got a lot of, halves at the moment.
Yeah.
And just seeing it that we've got Metcalf, Tamari Martin, Johnson, how's he going to get in? I don't think right now, based on what I've seen, how's he going to get into the first grade side? He's had some games where he's come in and, he's had some solid games, but he's also had some games where he hasn't found his, form performance-wise. But, I love what he was doing in the New South Wales Cup. He led the way very well, and that's why they got very far in that New South Wales Cup competition last year. He stood out the most for me as a player. So, it is a shame. It is a shame. I was hoping to go to the Dragons and do well there, but unfortunately, and injuries just injuries do happen, and that's the most important thing. So, look, good luck to him. All the best to him. Wish him all the best, and whatever happens there, hopefully he has a speed recovery with his injury. So, and just reading comment here saying the Dragons should stand by him. So, I don't know. I think it's a little bit, it feels like a little bit harsh that, you get rid of a player just because he gets injured. So, I don't know. That's just my general thoughts on it. But what do you think?
Yeah. Obviously, they had another serious injury with Corey Allen doing his ACL, and he actually had his contract registered, so they actually had to stand by him. It was just a little bit like, it was. I don't know. I don't know the full story on it. Whether it's so muddy at the moment, but I'm sure we're going to find out a lot more with the RLPA actually looking into it and stuff like that. All I can say is I hope Ronnie gets a contract somewhere because he's one of the most talented young halves that we have in the competition at the moment in the Cup. Led the comp in try assists, his kick meters, his game control is amazing, but he also has a really nice running game on him as well. And I'm sure he's going to find a club somewhere, but hopefully it's sometime soon. And he doesn't really go out of pocket because of missing a contract between this year or so. Because obviously we all know, a lot of boys in the NRL on a lot of big wicket and that, but a lot of boys on the Cup side of things and all that, they're not on a big wicket. So hopefully he doesn't go out of pocket or anything like that as a human aspect side of things. And hopefully he recovers from his injury and absolutely kills it for any club he goes and plays for. Because, he was a great Warrior for us in the time that we actually needed him. And, just sad to see him go.
Anyway, so Mikey Mitchell, how's it going, Mikey Mitchell? Hope you're doing well yourself. The Ghost Slayers put up a comment here, so we'll just read this. So he's saying Volkman was coming back to Warriors after that 2 years anyway, was only so he could get some game time. So interesting comment there. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah. I obviously, with the Roosters, he was struggling to get game time and that. And obviously with the Warriors, when we were struggling with our halves depth during the COVID period, we chucked him in, obviously, in that Panthers game that we really need someone to fill in there. And, to be honest, as I said, I've never thought he was a 6. Every time he got chucked into that 6 role, I was just like, bro, he's not a 6. He loves to have his hand on the ball and control the team and run. Even though he's got a great running game, I think his best asset, in my opinion, even though I've heard other people say opposite, I think his best asset is his kicking game and his game control. I think he's absolutely amazing there. It's just, it would have been great to keep someone of him because I honestly do think that he would have ended up getting into that halfback role in the future, even though he wanted to find a role. That's how sports goes. If players can't find a role somewhere else, they're going to look at other teams where at that point for us, we were in a bad point that we needed someone like him to fill out our depth. And, he found a spot. He done well. We loved him when he was with us. And obviously, we did really well for his career as well to even put his name on the map as well, So either way, it was good to have him there and that. But I just honestly hope that he's doing well and he gets a contract soon because he's so talented, man. And, I hope he recovers well.
Yeah, well said there. But hello. So to those of you just joining, so I've got Ash Thomas on here, and we're just discussing the Warriors squad. So if you haven't done so, make sure you do like the live stream as well. Make sure you click the thumbs up on the live stream, and then also go and subscribe to Ash Thomas on YouTube. Go and give him some love as well. So go and check him out. Make sure you like this live stream, and if you're a new viewer, please don't forget to subscribe as well. We're trying to get to 3K by the start of the 2024 NRL season. So like, share, and subscribe. Do all the following. But back into the the halves. What are your thoughts here? So just looking at the depth, do you think we've got enough depth in the halves here? Because CHT can come in and play a bit of halves. You know, you've got obviously Shaun Johnson's going to be starting. That's a definite. It's a certainty. So unless there's an injury, which hopefully doesn't happen. So
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully that doesn't happen and his form stays the same as it was last year. But what are your thoughts here? So we've got Chanel, we've got Luke Metcalf, and we've got Tamari Martin. We've got Johnson. So if you look at the halves there, what do you think we've got enough depth there? Do you feel like we've got enough depth? And obviously, who would you start? Like Shaun will start, but who would you start at? Because for me, I've got Metcalf starting.
Yep.
I've got Metcalf starting with Johnson. A lot of people say Tamari Martin should be starting, but I've got Metcalf based on the form of last year. Back into the season. So what do you feel like? What do you feel like there?
Yeah. I think depth-wise is absolutely amazing, as we just touched on with Ronald Volkman. Unfortunately, whether I don't know if he got he was looking elsewhere as well, and the way that sort of panned out. But as you said before, we were kind of struggling at one point. When Chanel obviously come back to really find a place for all these halves. And obviously, if you look at our cup team and the way everything's going, you're going to have. For me, I agree with you. I think it's going to be SJ and Metcalf. Really judging on how Metcalf comes back from that hamstring injury, obviously, but from all rumors and what we've seen out there on photos and that, obviously moving really well, getting into training. So really good to see there. So if he's healthy, ready to go, Metcalf's going to be my 6. I have come out and said, I made a video on my channel. I honestly think that Metcalf is still a player that's learning that 6th position. We saw it a lot of last year. I felt like he was better played in positions of more so like a fullback in most aspects, like obviously scoring a lot of tries off broken play, playing support man, playing 3-on-2s on the outside instead of using the edge back roller. That's something he needs to learn and grow with. But the only way he's going to learn and grow is to play strong starting minutes throughout the year and just gel with Jackson Ford or whoever plays on that outside with him there. So I think those boys are definitely there. Then obviously, in our cup side, we're going to have obviously Tamari Martin, unless any of these boys get a 14 role, this is what I mean. Our depth is amazing. So you stretch it down to cup. Then you got Chanel. Chanel's added himself in the conversation as well. It made it really, really tough to try and predict this team and how we're going to really run out for round 1. And then also, you got Dylan Walker, that's a forward, but he also could play 6 if we really needed to, if everything really fell badly with us with injuries. At worst, we got Dylan Walker there that did a job in moments last year. I wouldn't say he should be our locked-in 6 at any time soon, but obviously I think he did a job when he actually got in there. Defensively, he was amazing. Obviously, attacking-wise, he wasn't the greatest on that edge there, but, either way, I think depth-wise, I think we're very, very strong in this position as well, and it's great to see as a Warriors fan. It's very, very positive in the stream at the moment. I'm loving it.
Yep, yeah. And what do you reckon, rating the depth of our halves? What do you reckon here?
I'm going to say, again, I'm going to hold us around probably a 7.5 to an 8. I think, honestly, you got Shaun Johnson that, a lot of people argue, should have won a Daily M last year. I thought he was our Daily M last year, but, he was amazing coming off last year. Then you got, obviously, Chanel Harris-Tavita. He was amazing for us before he left, obviously a year off, so he's got to get his boots under him again. Luke Metcalf was one of the big shining lights with our, we need a lot of speed in our team, and he has the speed to burn, so he's amazing in that. And obviously the man with a whole lot of experience that has an amazing journey with Tamari Martin, to fill in any sort of role there. Those boys can fill in multiple different positions. So versatility across our team is incredible. I'm going to say around an 8 as well. What do you reckon, my bro?
Yeah, I'll say around that. Actually, I'll go with a 7.5. 7.5. Yeah, I think it's just around that end there, but just looked at who can come in. Obviously you got Tamari Martin there, Metcalf and Johnson are my starting halves, obviously there. But you got Tamari Martin as well. So look, I think it's great that we've got enough depth there in the halves as well. Especially, I think we don't have too bad of a depth on that side of the picture there. So that's the halves done there. So just anything more you would like to add on the halves before we go into the hookers?
Not really, man. Like, as I said, like, it's great to see, we're going to say this again. You're going to keep hearing us, whether you drop in and out of the stream and all that. But honestly, coming off the years that we struggled in many of these positions for depth, like center, halves, we are getting into a point now where our development coming through is looking amazing. And, we're just adding really key pieces to our squad and our depth starting to get there. So you're going to see a lot of real positive, points and all that from me at the moment. I don't really see any real issue with our halves at the moment. Obviously, maybe defensively at times they can be iffy in that, but I thought last year, as we said before, we were a top 3 defensive team in the competition, and that's no slouch. Like, we did amazing last year defensively, so I'm so keen for this year, man.
Yep. So on to the hookers now. So look at the hookers. So we've got here where are we? So we got Freddie. There we are. We've got it there. Okay, so Freddie Lussick there, and we've got Wade Egan. Utate Fuka. That's how you pronounce. Apologies if I pronounced that wrong. If I butchered that name, I'm sure I have to learn to say it properly. But that's him. I think that's pretty much it. I think that's it. We've got in terms of our hookers there. So just looking, we've got that. That's our hookers. So generally, what are your thoughts there? It's I don't know. I feel like the hookers is maybe a little bit shallow in depth. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion on it. What do you reckon there? You got Wade Egan. Now, Wade Egan had a great season last year, but he also had some struggles with concussion, and that's my worry, my concern. That's my concern. Look, if he gets another concussion, man, he was hit hard last year. He was whacked in the tackle. He was, he had a sore. You can see that. But what are your thoughts on there? Just the hookers.
I feel like, maybe this is definitely an area where I could probably see our squad maybe looking at strengthening, especially with our junior depth and all that coming through on that. Obviously, as we said before, like Wade Egan's absolutely amazing. He's got all the talent in the world when he plays. He's absolutely incredible. But we do know, like, of history with Wade Egan, and even like last year with concussions, as you said, he did deal with a ton of concussions last year, but it's also injuries within his whole career. That has been a little bit of thing that does hold him back. Hopefully he gets over that curve, and he did amazing last year toward the end of last year and really put some games together on that. But other than that, like, Freddie Lussick's great. I think Freddie Lussick's got a ton of potential as well. Probably just needs a little bit more time there. I think defensively, he's actually really, really strong. Got some of the best tackle tech in our squad. I think he's incredible for tackle tech, hitting under the ball, really, really strong in contact there, especially for a smaller body. I think he does a really good job there. Obviously, attacking wise, I feel like our team does slow down a little bit when we have Freddie Lussick there. Obviously, Wade Egan and Sean Johnson had a great connection last year. And the way that Wade Egan, his ruck deception is incredible. We see guys like Harry Grant say that he watches a lot of Wade Egan for ruck deception, which is a major take. Like, that's incredible to hear. But other than him and Freddie, as I said before, someone like Dylan Walker, again, another forward that could play in the halves, could play in the centers. He could fill in at hooker. I don't really like him at hooker. I think he's got a really slow pass out of ruck. I don't think he's got the best pass out of ruck, but he definitely could fill in there if we did need that. But this is definitely the part of our squad where I feel like we do get hit with injuries and we could struggle. I was going to say, it's going to be one that we do see maybe in the future. We do look at maybe a young hooker coming through and that. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, so generally the way I look at it is, Fred Lussick is our second choice hooker. So if injuries do happen, if Wade Egan needs a rest, I think Freddie Lussick is that sort of backup option. I know there's a thing where, maybe you can put in a Shinaris Tavita there and play a bit of hooker himself. I know he's more of a half, but there's also the thing where an idea where he could play a bit of hooker coming off the bench. But for me, generally, just look, I'm a bit worried about the hooker spot there. I feel like if Wade Egan, has a few injuries, Freddie Lussick can come in, he can do the job, no doubt about it. I don't doubt he can not do the job there.
Yep.
So if he gets injured, what are we looking
Yeah,
at here? You
that's
know,
where
what are
it's
we
a
looking at?
problem.
Are we going to throw in Chanel Estevito? He's never played that position before. To
Yeah.
start and hooker, you know,
I
it's
wouldn't
my
be
only worry.
surprised. I wouldn't be surprised with the 4 spots that we have left. We have Nathaniel Roach's cousin or brother, Paul Roach. I don't know if he's a full cousin. I've seen him play a little bits of hooker at time too, and he's got a ton of potential as well. So maybe he could get upgraded into a contract. We got 4 spots left in our top 30, so maybe he could fill in there. But again, yeah, that's probably one position where we do lack a little bit of depth.
Yeah. So look, generally overall, what do you reckon here? Just looking at the hookers there. What are your thoughts?
Rating on depth and
depth.
stuff, bro. Yeah, rating on depth. I'm gonna say this is probably about a 7, maybe. You know, at the worst, I'm like, you know, whether you put together like their performances and stuff like that. I think Wade Egan's incredible. This is not saying Wade Egan's not incredible and all that. Given that hooker position a low rating, as we just spoke on before, our depth in that position definitely does need to grow a little bit. I think Freddie Lustig does an amazing job when he fills in there. But if we got no Wade Egan due to injuries and concussions, we do rely on one more player, as in Freddie Lustig, way too much more. And who's going to filter in behind him, unless it could be Chanel. We chuck someone like Chanel in there. That's not a preferred hooker. Someone that could play there, Dylan Walker. That's why I'm going to give it about a 7. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, look, probably I'd say around the 7.5. Yeah, 7.5 for me. So I think just based on, you know, Wade Egan's awesome. He's a great player, and I've always rated Wade Egan since he came to the club. And there's so many people that, you know, went high on him, and you know, a lot of people just, you know, wanted someone like a Cameron, well, you know, Cook, a Damien Cook, or a
everyone
Brandon
wants
Smith. A lot of Warriors
the top
fans
hooker.
wanted Brandon Smith. You know, there was so much love around Brandon Smith, and they wanted him in there. So, you know, I just thought Egan's doing a good job. He's not done too badly. So,
yeah, unfortunately, if we were able to have Cameron Smith or something like that, it just couldn't happen. There's a salary cap for a reason, and there's like parts in the team that we need to like and not acknowledge that we got to manage on, like, you know, salary cap and that. You can't have a perfect team, but I think we do a damn good job, obviously, with Wade Egan, especially for his pay packet and that. I think he's incredible for our team.
Yeah, so that's the hookers done there. So now just looking into the big forward pack, that is the monster pack itself. So we'll look at the props in the second rows and the locks. So just going through the squad. So we'll go through it here. So forwards, obviously Adam Fonua-Blake there, AFB, Bunty Afoa, Dimitri Safakula, got Jackson Ford there, Jacob Laban, Jazz Tavanga, Kalani Going. Got so many young players here on that list there.
Yeah.
Kurt Capewell, the big signing of Kurt Capewell, the massive inclusion there. Leka Halasima, another good young player coming through. Marata Niokore, Mitchell Barnett, Tanner Stowers-Smith, Tohu Harris, Tom Malay, and Zion Mau. So those are the forwards there. Anyone I missed out on? I'm pretty sure I got everyone.
You say Kurt Capewell?
Kurt Capewell, yeah, I've got him. Yep. So that's all.
Yep.
Pretty sure Dylan Walker's. Dylan Walker's named in as a lock here on their website, on the Warriors website there. So
he's everything for us. He's been amazing for our depth. So good, Dylan Walker. But yeah.
Yeah. So generally, what are your thoughts there on the props, the second rows and the lock there? I think overall, I think it's you know, we haven't got a bad bit of depth there.
Yep.
I do sort of have a little bit of a worry as well in the props department. What do you reckon there?
Yeah, 100%, bro. I feel like, you know, depth-wise for like our promising props coming up, I think we got some of the best young junior forwards coming through at the moment. But whether they haven't really fully tasted NRL competition yet. We've had a couple tasted last year, but they still need a lot of time to prove themselves on the NRL stage. So we're just talking NRL stage at the moment. A lot of these guys have a ton of potential, but we just haven't seen it yet. That's all. But I think, you know, a prop is definitely something we could maybe look for. Obviously, with Adam Fonua-Blake leaving in 2025, is definitely an area that, you know, we should be looking at this year towards next year. We got obviously players like Marata Niokore that could maybe even move himself to the middle, or, you know, whether they move Jackson Ford to the middle with Kurt Capewell coming to the club, whether that helps our prop depth a little bit. But it definitely is an area that I do think that we should be strengthening. Obviously, got players like Tommy Ale that played amazing for us in moments last year as well, then fell back out to Cup and then had a couple of injuries and stuff. Bunty Afar actually holds, I think he holds the best tackle percentage or whatever in the NRL at the moment. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure last time I seen he was absolutely incredible defensively. But with Bunty Afar, he does not find himself in big PCMs and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think we have players there. We have depth there. It's just a lot of depth that we haven't seen yet. So players like Zion Mai'u, I think he's incredible. He just needs to touch the NRL stage to see if his potential's there and whether he can become an NRL prop. Obviously I'm massive on Tanner Stowers-Smith. I think he's incredible. I reckon he's going to be one of our captains in the future. Like, he's incredible. But all these guys have got a ton of potential. We just need to see it on the NRL stage before we start really jumping out of our boots and saying these guys are going to be incredible. So a guy, obviously, with a whole lot of hype, Sifakula, he could be anything as well. So, yeah, depth-wise, as an NRL depth, I don't think we are incredible in prop, but I feel like we've got a ton of potential in the future.
Yeah, and just going through a comment here from Ray and Zed G saying the big homie from the Knights who played in the Kiwis mean prop. So I think he's talking about Big Leo.
Big
Leo Thompson, I think it is. Yeah,
he'd be incredible. Other players that I like looking at the moment, that whether we have a chance to even try and poach him off big teams and stuff, I think Griffin Neem's contract is up 2025 and stuff like that. So Griffin Neem's a player that I absolutely adore as well. I think he's incredible coming off the bench with the Cowboys. The Cowboys have some of the best forward depth in the competition at the moment, and just going through their junior grades and through history of the Cowboys, they have incredible forwards that come out of that system. Griffin Neem would be incredible to bring back to New Zealand. Leo Thompson's incredible, someone to look at. Obviously, Hamun Luele is the players that people have been throwing up with as well. Whether we make a big signing, obviously losing a couple of players and obviously losing Adam Fanor-Blake for 2025, who do we filter in and bring in to try and fill that void?
Yeah, and that will be an interesting topic when it comes to next during the season, off season of next season. So obviously the focus is on 2024. So I think if you look at it, definitely we need to be going after somebody, and I'm sure we will. I'm sure we'll go after another prop, which I think that's important. Getting someone to replace Adam Fanor-Blake, which is no easy feat. Adam Fanor-Blake's not an easy player to replace, and he's going to be a big loss definitely next season. So, but when it comes around, we'll think about that. So, So overall, what do you reckon? What do you rate the in terms of the forwards? What do you rate the depth there? I think I did say that my only worry is the props. Where we get a lot of injuries. Who's going to come in and. That's my concern.
I think overall, as a complete forward pack, I think we rate probably about a 7.5 and 8 in depth. I think we got a great depth in our second row position, in our lock position. I think there's a lot of boys that can fill in at lock with Jazzy, Tohu, and Dylan Walker could always fill in. Sifakula could definitely step up and fill the boots there if we really need to. On the edge, we got Jacob Laban. That's amazing. Kurt Catewell, Nick Kore, if he wants to play there again, or whatever we do with Nick Kore, he can play in the middle. Jackson Ford. I think our depth's incredible in multiple positions, but I do agree with you. Prop seems to be the area where we do need to start maybe looking and making moves. Obviously for the future and obviously for next year. When Adam does leave that field to go to the bench, we do lose a little bit of that punch. And I think Barnett's incredible for his defensive uptick and what he does aggressively in defense. At moments, Adam's just someone that you can't really replace. He's just incredible. So maybe someone for the future.
Yep. Just reading a comment here, Ray and Zed says we got the depth, bro. So it's good to see that you're very positive about the depth of the forwards. So I think the depth there is, not too bad, but there are some question marks as well. I think I'm just, seeing it through a different point of view there. But look, overall, what do you reckon? What do you rate the forwards there?
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. I'll give him a 7.5. I think our best depth at the moment, which is wild to say because I thought last year our forward depth was incredible as well. But comparatively to our centers and our wingers and stuff, I thought they were our lacking part. But coming into this year with RTS and all that, I think they've come heads and shoulders above anything else in the team. So our forwards just need maybe a couple other pieces to really fit in there. A fat 8, I could not go past an 8 either, maybe, but for me, I can't really keep saying 8s and all that sort of stuff. I'll give him a 7.5.
Yeah, I'll point it around the 7s there.
Yeah,
it's just to change things up. But yeah, 7. What? Just lastly on those forwards there, who do you reckon out of those younger forwards that could come in and possibly make a debut in the season?
Yep. Zion Ma'u is definitely someone that's got a whole lot of name around him at the moment. He's been in our developments for ages, played in the Auckland team and all that. He was incredible. Definitely someone I'm watching out for the future. Jacob Laban's got a ton of potential as well, a lot of name around him. Obviously, our development players like Stowers Smith, I don't know if they'll find this role yet. They've still got time, but they're incredible. And I won't say for next year. I think next year maybe he has the potential to find his way in here as well. But I think Halasima has got like all the potential in the world. He reminds me a lot of Jeremiah Nenai type of player. I think he's absolutely incredible, but he needs time to grow. So we need to allow that to happen. Someone like Zion Ma'u is definitely my pick to actually step up in the grade. Or Dimitri Sifikula. Obviously, seeing him back in the grade would be awesome to see.
Yeah, and just look at the comment here from the Ghost Laser. He's saying we do have the depth for real, but it's just a question mark over the young ones who haven't tasted NRL yet. Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
You come in, obviously it's a different higher level of quality when you come into the NRL, and yes, it can be paying great for the younger grades, New South Wales Cup, but obviously NRL is a different level, but.
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to, when you're playing those junior grades and stuff coming through, usually all these forwards that make New South Wales Cup and that are the best players in those areas that usually, they make big line breaks and stuff in the junior grades. They're incredible. They're all the big boys. But when they go into the NRL stage, what people don't usually find out and don't know is all these boys at that stage was all those killers that came through and were amazing in those junior stages as well. So they find their level, and it's whether they can hold up with the 80-minute game, whether they play 60, 40, whatever they get through and don't get turned around from hard defense and, just really keep at it and keep growing as a forward. Zion Ma'u is definitely someone that I see that has the potential to be amazing NRL front row forward and all that, but it's just whether he can take that jump and really get accepted between all the boys in the NRL forwards. He's going to be incredible if he does step up, though.
Yeah, and Ghost Slayer saying here just can't let other teams poach him before you get them.
That's a big one.
The top team. It is massive, and I actually chatted and asked Elijah Taylor about this the day. If you guys haven't seen that, go and check out that interview I did with Elijah Taylor. It's a great chat. He gave his thoughts on. I asked him around the junior talent. He's like he says that in regards to the junior talent, obviously it's always going to be hard to keep your players. So definitely when you think about it, obviously as a Warriors fan, and we want to be very biased here and say we want to keep them, but sometimes some players you can't keep them all.
Yeah.
And they go over to Australia and. It's a different system. It's way different to what New Zealand is, and we've seen a lot of good Kiwi players, especially like Fisher Harrison, that go over there and kill it. So
I would say what helps me and holds me with a little bit more positivity around our development now comparatively to the past is teams like the Panthers actually putting it on the map to really deal with their development and bring up their development players as much as they can and really try to hold on to them as much as they can. And it showed a blueprint to teams like us that have such a talented junior base, but we've always struggled with teams coming in and poaching all our juniors very, very young, offering them scholarships, bringing them over to Australia, and they become incredible. And I feel like with the Panthers doing what they're doing, and now everyone wants to be the team that grows from beneath, we got the potential to do that and do that amazing. It's just we got to hold on to these players, really develop them, do whatever we can to really hold them in. But again, as you said, if they want to leave and they need to leave for positive reasons to better their game and that, we got other boys that are going to step up in that position these days.
Yep, well said there. So for those of you just tuning in, just letting you know that we are discussing just going through the New Zealand Warriors squad for the 2024 season. So we're just going through the depth. Get rating the depth as well, and look at some of the players that could come in as well. So also go and check out Ash on YouTube. Actually go and show him some love. Subscribe to him, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, and trying to get to that 3K subscriber mark by the start of the 24 season. So just try and get there. And, yeah, make sure you like this live stream as well. And I'm trying to get a few more interviews as well on the channel, so may stay tuned for that as well. So, but yeah, that's just generally I think that's the forwards we've gone through there. So forwards, you've given a rating already, so I've given a rating. So we'll move on to so we've done the forwards. So that's it, is it? That's the forwards. Yeah, that's pretty much the squad. So we've done that. So just a question here. Now looking into the team now. So what do you reckon? What do you reckon the bench will look like this season? What are your thoughts here?
Me, I've just jumped back and forth all the way. You know, if you haven't checked me out, I've also got a really my TikTok channel. I've started that up, and it's been amazing on that as well. And I've done my predicted team list. Check it out on my YouTube and my TikTok. That has currently changed because I did that before the Capewell trade, the Capewell signing. So that changed a lot for me. I had Chanel. I wanted Chanel in the squad as much as I could, but I couldn't really fit him in. So my bench at the moment for me predicted is Dylan Walker at that 14, Jazzy Tavanga at 15, Nia Kore at 16, and Bunty Afoa or maybe Zion Mai'u, you know, some other players. But at the moment, I think Bunty probably because he's been around the squad for a lot longer. He's got the experience. He might lock down that 17 role, but I do see him being the one to filter out and bring in these young boys. So what's your thoughts, man? What are you thinking?
Yeah, it's not a bad bench here that you're looking at there. I probably say that it's quite hard at the moment. I've sort of gone back and forward with my bench. I have no idea at this point of time. So I won't actually go through my bench right now because I'm not quite sure yet. I'm still, want to see a bit of the way the trials go and who performs in that. So
it's wild, man, because there's so many positions. Like, that 14 could go Chanel Harris Tavita, could go Tamale Martin, could go obviously Dylan Walker, as I said. Jazzy's in there. He's so versatile. And then like Nick Corday or Ford could drop out of their edge back rower roles for Capewell, or maybe even Capewell comes off the bench. Like, there's so many positions up for grabs this year, which is absolutely incredible for our squad.
Yeah, exactly. So just another question here to you. Yeah, so who do you reckon will be like a surprise selection for round one? What do you reckon? Who will come in and have a strong preseason trials and suddenly their names on the team list in round one? What do you think?
Yeah, this is tough. This is tough. I'll say like my controversial one, and it's one I've been sticking with all the way through as my predicted one, is I think Adam Pompey is going to lock down that left side center role. And as I said before, I have to definitely double down on this and explain this because Barry's incredible and he's got all the potential in the world. And I think he's like our center for the future. And I believe he's better at this current point than Adam Pompey, but he hasn't played on that left side. And I honestly do believe that RTS will be on that right side. So that left side center is going to be the one up for grabs. And Pompey is predominantly always been a left side center, a left side winger. He's got the ball handling of the left-hand carry with the right-hand bend. Everything shouts at me a left side player. So he's going to be one that not a lot of Warriors fans may be looking at, going to be like agreeing with me on that. Even though like I agree with you, Barry is incredible and I love Barry and it sucks to keep him out. But I think Pompey might be that left side center. Other players, I can't see anyone else really jumping out at me other than maybe Zion Mai'u maybe locking down a bench role. As I said, with Bunty Afoa being my 17 as predicted, I could see a surprise selection of Zion Mai'u with all the talk around the club that he's training the house down coming into that 17 role. So what's your thoughts, bro? Who do you think your surprise selection would be?
Well, I actually think that someone like a Jacob Laban or Zion may make a case for a spot in the 17 for round one, and that might seem a bit early to throw them into the spotlight, but I think there's a chance it could happen. If not, they will get their debuts at some point during the season. I think there's no doubt about it. I think it will happen. But Demetric Savakurla is another one that could possibly come in as well. Onto 100%. The bench as well. So, another thing I want to ask you is Jazz Tavanga. Where does he fit in this side? I love Jazz Tavanga. I love what he brings, to the Warriors. Where do you think he's going to fit in? Because it's tough to find a place in that 17 for him at the moment. Because you got Dylan Walker there as well, and Dylan Walker, don't forget, did an outstanding job last year. So What do you reckon there? Like Jazz, where do you think he'll come in?
For me, I'll do whatever I can to have those boys together. Like we do remember a part of last year as the Ball brothers. They were incredible at one point this year. When we brought them on to speed up the ruck, their passing through the middle just gave forward packs so many skits. Like it was crazy. So great to see. I think he's going to be lined up with in the 15 jersey next to Walker in the 14 jersey. A lot of things could switch up because, as I said before, with that bench role, I think he's definitely coming off the bench. If you got Chanel maybe rocking down at 14 role, because Chanel is coming back and he's definitely a player with a whole lot of potential as well. And we do want him around our club as much as we can in the starting lineups or whatever we can get him into. Whether Jazzy be the one to maybe find himself falling back, but I think Jazzy's versatility, can play through the middle. He definitely adds for our prop depth that we have there, even though he's a smaller body comparatively to many other props in the competition. We're seeing the turn of props these days to like Ruben Cotters and players like that these days. So I think he can do a great job off the bench with Dylan Walker and have the Ball brothers go at it again for our team. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we saw that with Jazz. When he played, he was great for us. But then he had obviously he had some tough
injury problems. Yeah,
it's a shame. It was a real shame because I thought, him and Jazz, Jazz and Dylan, sorry. We're forming a bit of a like a brotherhood there on the field.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they were like brothers. They were playing together, and it was just gutting. When he got injured and. It was a shame he didn't see a lot of first grade in 2023 as well. So hopefully, fingers crossed for Jazz, he can have a much better, year in terms of injury wise, and he stays injury free. But it will be tough, to see how he can get into this 17 at the moment, just based on who's playing with them well at the moment. Well, from last year. So.
I think the big thing with me is like, Jazzy has been someone that I've seen a lot of like Warriors fan forum pages and stuff like that, like a Facebook pages and stuff. In the past, being a problem for the middle, he used to lack some discipline and through the middle, he still kind of lacks discipline at times and stuff. But like with Andrew Webster coming to the club and giving him the form, even though with his injury history that he had last year and even in the past and that, when he came back off injury, he wasn't really ready to go and all that. He's stated in other interviews I've seen on YouTube and stuff like that. I think Warriorholic had him on his channel and he stated that he wasn't ready to come back. But even in those moments, I thought he performed really, really well under Webster. And I think Webster's getting the best out of all these players that at the past had a negative stigma around them. Another one's like Adam Pompey. I thought Pompey had an amazing season last year, even though, in moments he did get the spotlight for some defensive misses and stuff like that. Even after that, like I've seen him play really well against players like Valentine Holmes last year. I thought he was incredible with, and he obviously played the full year for us and played the most out of any player in the NRL competition. Like Andrew Webster has made these players that had all the negative stigma around them and had not looked great in our system before really come through our system and look amazing. And I think that's the biggest key depth that we have in our club at the moment is Andrew Webster and what he's actually doing with our players and all our junior depth that is coming through and all the systems he's putting into place. So that definitely gives a whole lot of positivity for our club for the future and what we're looking through for our junior depths and stuff like that.
Yep. So that's really think just quickly one last question overall on the squad. Looking at the overall picture of the squad now. Strengths and weaknesses of the overall squad, and also what do you rate the squad in general overall?
Yep. So I think general weaknesses of our squad. Last year we had a top 3 defense, which is the first time we've had in a very long time. So defensively we really stood up last year. But I feel like in positions like prop, we do probably need another prop really to stand up and really take over the boots of Adams playing next year. He's getting through next year, but we need someone that fills his role during the year when he comes off the field, comes onto the bench role, and then we can bring someone through that's just a roundabout that can fill his boots a little bit. And also, is talking with you today and all that and really finding out how limited we are at the moment with our hooker depth. If that really goes bad, if we had injuries to Freddie Lussick and Egan, we could be really, really down on another hooker that we could bring through unless we bring through Roach in Cup, if he gets a development deal, if he gets into our top 30, players like that. But definitely that's our weaknesses, in my opinion. And our strengths, I think our backline strength's incredible. I think this year, Chanel No, Chance had an incredible year in the Pacific Championship, obviously winning. He was incredible. He was the MVP or whatever in the finals. He was incredible. You know, what he did there really put his name up in lights. Dallin last year was a top 3 winger in the competition. He was incredible for a limited amount of games of last year. Monty was incredible to start the year, and we got a Daly M coming back to our club with RTS. I think that's incredible for us, in my opinion. That's our biggest strength, is that back line, in my opinion. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually agree with you on that one. I think look at the strengths there. I think our outside backs, particularly, I'll say our outside backs definitely a strength. You know, we've got some great players there. Depth is good as well. Yep. The forward pack is a bit of a, you know, we said it was a good forward pack in general.
Yep.
But there are some also question marks as well. So overall, looking at the squad, I think it's a very good squad that we've got. I think the only thing I will say is the prop, definitely. But and the hookers' depth is probably not great either. But other than that, I think it's a squad more than capable, you know, of doing something this year for sure. I think you know, the expectations myself are very high.
Yeah.
On the team. So yeah, I feel like this team should be in the finals.
Yeah.
Should be making finals this year. I'm not going to give away a prediction this year because I've got a Warriors season preview which we planned.
100%.
I'm hoping to get Ash back on the channel for that, and a few other Warriors content creators. So make sure you tune in for that one. That will be a bit more of a preview look into the year. Probably after the trials happen. So, but yeah, look, overall, good squad.
I'm thinking around, what do you reckon? I'm thinking an 8. I think an 8 would be a really good number for our squad. I think, you know, our depth in multiple positions in our back line. I think our halves depth is really, really good. And we got a player like Dylan Walker that covers so many other different positions as well. Jazzy Tavanga. We got a lot of versatility in our squad. I think an 8 very, very strong. I think we got a really strong team for coming into next year. What's your thoughts? What's your rating?
So for me, I'll probably say an 8, around about an 8 too. I'm sort of sticking on the same one there. I would love to go a 9 or a 10, but I don't think it'll go that too high. Just yet, because I feel like there's still some players that we may need in some positions wise. But look, an 8's good. You know, some people might say that's a bit of a surprise that you've only got an 8, but I've gone with an 8 too as well. So yeah, look, that's pretty much it. You know, we've gone for an hour here. We've actually gone through the squad, and look, I think me and Ash have done pretty well here to go through this squad and give our bit of thoughts here. But yeah, thanks Ash for coming on. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you, my brother.
Thanks as well to all the viewers for tuning in and watching live, or if you're watching it back as well. Thanks for watching it back as well. Also. Make sure you like the live stream as well. Make sure you like the video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Ash Thomas. Go check him out. Go give him some love and subscribe to him. He does some great content as well. So I'm sure he's got plenty more exciting stuff to come. And I'm sure we'll have a few more collabs to come as well. With Ash as well. So thanks, Ash, again.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate it. Appreciate you putting me on your platform. Amazing platform. Fanatics, you're incredible. Thank you so much. Give him a subscribe, 3K, get it done this year. It's going to be amazing, bro.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can get there real soon. That's definitely a goal one to get to 3K at some point during the season. Hopefully it does happen. But thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Have a good rest of the night, good rest of the weekend. Yeah, looking forward to 2024. Up the mighty Waz. Go Warriors. Up the Waz. Cheers, everyone.